What a do, skibbity boo, it's your boy Seanyb, and this is the channel where we like to try to share our Smite knowledge. First off, I'd like to say thank you for all the support on my last video, and to any new subscriber. I hope you can find this content enjoyable. We're going to be reviewing some ranked Joust gameplay today, going over how to build and how to play Cernunnos. And we have the lovely new G.O.A.T skin on Cernunnos. It's either Cernunnos or Cernunnos. I'm gonna call him Cernunnos. So just on the banning stage, we got Anubis and Jeb Cernunnos versus a Ganesh, Soul, and Cupid. And on the loading screen, I remember feeling like, oh geez, they're all pretty high ranked, and we have a level 2 Anubis.
Okay, now,
but anyway, we are going to start with the Attacker's Blessing, the item that you can start with in Joust, but you can't in Conquest. And then we're going to be building into Transcendence. The first thing you're going to want to do in ranked Joust is ward your blue. That way they can't invade without you knowing. And then we're going to make our way back to the speed gap. So in the leveling order, I put a point into my 1 and I put 2 points into my 2. This is going to allow me to clear the wave a little bit faster, do a little bit more damage, but I do not have my escape. So I just need to be mindful whenever I am laning. So we're going to go ahead and clear the speed. Go ahead and pick it up because it does have attack speed. So it benefits the hunter the most right out of the gate. And then after that, I'm going to be trying to pick up damage. So now that we're at the blue, I gotta say, this skin, I wasn't that fond of it at first, but then whenever I realized his shirt changes color based on his 1, and so do his frisbees, so I was like, oh, okay, this skin's pretty cool. So I was enjoying this skin, and I do remember this game, these guys just sit under tower. So we're really going to be taking a look at what to do when the enemy team sits under tower. There's also a pause in this game. I went ahead and clipped that pause down by a few seconds. That way you guys weren't just sitting there looking at a pause screen. But right now they're just hanging out in tower. So we're going to just try to get a little bit of poke while we can. They're just hanging out. This is one of the slower games that I have played in ranked Joust.
It's organic.
What we're really trying to avoid is them sitting in the tower, waiting to get their ults, and then using all of their ults on one person. This happened a lot on the old Joust map, and it's a little bit more punishing on this Joust map. So pretty early on, I feel like we think we're just going to have a normal Joust game, like they're not going to sit in tower, and then somewhere along the lines we realize like, oh, these guys are just going to sit in tower. Let's just go farm all the camps that we can. Typically I'm not too worried about the like small harpies. It's nice to get a little bit of XP here and there, but you kind of want to contest and get poked. But in this game, it just worked out to where we just got all the farm. So, we're just going to keep clearing wave. We are going to... Jeez, this game is a lot of just looking at them under tower. So let's go over Cernunnos' kit just a little bit while they hang out under tower. Cernunnos' 1 allows you to switch between 4 buffs. The first buff is lifesteal. The second one removes protection from the enemy as you land basic attacks. The third one is damage. And then the blue one is a slow. So in theory, you could be lifestealing off of wave, the enemy approaches, you switch over to the yellow stance, you remove some protections, and then you switch to the damage stance, do some bonus damage while they have a reduction in protections, and if they start running away, you switch over to the blue and you start to apply a slow, that way they can't get away as easily. So I see they're on their blue. This was my first mistake. You come over, we're like, yeah, let's clear this, and then here comes one ult, here comes another ult, and then here comes the exactly what we were trying to avoid.
Can you just AFK?
I even called out in game, I'm like, oh, these guys are just sitting under tower, waiting to get their ultimates. So, we died, and unfortunately we don't have enough for Transcendence. And I hate having to do this, but we're going to go into Ninja Tabi. I don't hate Ninja Tabi, I hate having to go into Boots before I finish my Transcendence. So upon leaving spawn, you see that speed is up, so we're just going to go ahead and clear that. Since we died, and damage isn't going to be up that soon, we're going to go ahead and pick up the speed. And we're going to make our way to middle lane. I got a question for my viewers. Do you guys just main one god, or do you play a variety of gods? For me, I started the game out, and my first god that I really mained was Scotty, and the second one was Anubis. And then I kind of started to venture out a little bit after that, but those were my two OGs. I've had a few OGs here and there, but right now I'm kind of in a spot where if I have a god diamond, I don't really play with them as much anymore.
No problem. Attack left lane.
So Anubis died. He was just really far positioned. He said sorry, said no problem, attack left lane, try to stay grouped up. I'm not trying to DM him. He does die more than anyone else on our team. But there's no point in being toxic. He said sorry, he realized he made a mistake, and it's really not a problem. It's hard to feed, especially whenever they sit under tower the whole time. So, things will work out. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep clearing wave, and then kind of back to Cernunnos' kit. His 2 is a line attack that then turns into a circle on the ground that does damage over time. Whenever you're attacking the minion wave, you don't want to throw it at the front of the minion wave. You kind of want to throw it in the middle, because the explosion damage does more than the tick damage. So let's see if I can illustrate it on this wave. Boom, I hit the full wave with the explosion. Now there's a few minions just standing in it. So no camps are up. Just gonna hang out in the middle. Going to make my way back to Yep, change my mind, realized that wasn't worth it. Also saw my team was engaging a little far up. So that's a Ganesh ult. That was a very bad Ganesh ult. 2 dashes out. The 2 can also apply a root, and then the 3 is pretty much a dash that does damage. There's nothing very special there. And then your ultimate turns the enemy into a pig for 2 seconds. And while they are a pig, they can't do anything. So here's the game pause. I was playing with my friend Preston Penn, and I remember telling him, hey, this is going to be one of those games where they sit under tower and we just have to go and farm. There's no point in trying to push them. They're just going to play so defensive. This is a non-aggressive game of Smite. And as soon as we realize that, we just start going for camps after camp after camp in between waves. If you hear anything in the background, I apologize. A cat just came into the room.
This is how I win all frisbee games.
Anyway. So we got Jeb. Jeb is a pretty helpful god here. He's going to be able to CC and protect one of us with his shield. I am playing with my friend, so I feel like he does kind of try to use it on me instead of the Anubis, which I appreciate very much. In terms of leveling order on the abilities, you want to max out your 2, put points into your ult when you can, and then you want to max out your 1. You really just want to use your 3 as a getaway. You don't necessarily want to dive in and engage unless you really think you can secure a kill and box and get out safely. So it's a 2v3 right now. They're boxing a little bit. Soul throws some damage, can't connect. We're just going to clean up this wave. And that might be the most pressure they exert all game. So right there, I mean, Jeb did hit all 3 people, but it wasn't necessarily the best Jeb ult. I remember telling my friend, like, hey, try to save that for when they push under tower. That's our only chance of really turning this 2v3 around. So they back off. I'm going to go ahead and back because I have enough money to get Transcendence online. So now that I got Transcendence, I'm going to start trying to build into Aussie to get some lifesteal. The lifesteal from Cernunnos' 1 is helpful early game, especially when the enemy god does not have it, but it's not really sufficient enough to not get lifesteal as a hunter. So we're just going to make our way over to the camps, keep farming. We're level 9, they have 2 level 9, so right now they might be a little bit ahead in level. But we are about to hit level 10. Just throwing some basics on the wave, kind of saving my 1 to see if I could use it on an enemy god. Don't really find the opportunity. So we're just going to make our way over to some camps. I really like the effects on Cernunnos' 2. Whenever the ability lands, it makes those flowers and plants pop up. I think that's a very nice little touch.
Enemy ultimate down.
So Anubis died again. He was just not positioned very well. Whenever the 3 of them push and have ults, they can do a lot of damage, and if we aren't there for heal, they can kind of just get Anubis because he has no mobility.
Your middle tower is under attack.
I did miss my ult in that engagement, so that was partly my fault. I probably could have helped the Anubis a little bit. But once we get Aussie online, we're basically going to have our core items online for this Joust match, and then kind of any item after that is just preference or a flex item. Typically I would go into crit, although this game I tried something different and it seemed to work out. So right now we are a 10 and they have yet to have a 10 on their team. Gonna dodge the Ganesh abilities, make our way back. Anubis is not in lane, damage is up. So we're just gonna kind of hang out. Even though we are pushed back, we're not sitting in tower like they were. We were like hanging out on the front lines, trying to get them to commit a little bit further. But we're gonna go ahead and just pick up this damage. Get some poke on the soul. We're getting decent poke on the soul. We're just trying to stay alive, get some camps, get some stacks on Transcendence. Currently just hanging out in the lifesteal stance. I should have popped a voice pack booster. Check out this voice pack. I've yet to really hear anything from it. So there were a few other skins that came out yesterday on the 7.3 bonus patch that came out on April 7th. This was one of them. The other one was the Crow Sobek, then the Swordsman Susano, and then the Pharaoh Kraken. They were all pretty good skins. I think the Susano one was probably the best. I'm gonna hit these camps. Doo-doo-doo-doo. So they all hit level 10. I'm on 11. My team is 9. Anubis has died a few times. Geb has kind of just missed minion farm. Oh, this is the slowest game of Joust ever. But this is what you gotta do whenever they just sit back. So that's a Cupid dash. That's a very big ability for him to use. Boom, we get on the scoreboard.
An ally has been slain.
Soul is about to die. He doesn't have enough distance. Geb probably didn't need the ult because I landed my one, but if I'd missed my one, his ult would have been necessary for the kill there. That and it's a deicide, so good use of the ult. Now we're gonna clean up this tower. Frisbee man, throwing some frisbees, getting some towers. Frisbee man, cleaning up red. So we had to wipe them all to get really any tower poke. I'm gonna go ahead and beads out of this nonsense and dash out. That Jeb shield definitely saved my life. I would either be dead or have zero or very close to 0 health after walking over the Ganesh ult and getting hit by the Ganesh 1. So thank you, homie Preston. We're gonna go ahead. I was checking to see if I could get away with Bracer this game. Cupid already had anti-heal, so it was not the best idea. And then next, I'm gonna be building into the Atlantean bow. Whenever I land a basic attack, it's gonna give me a stack of movement speed. And I basically just wanted to try it out in this game. I saw somebody have success with it in Conquest, and I was gonna go this and then go straight down the penetration tree to get the executioner. Ooh, so I get the Cupid, dash forward to ult, then I peel off. Jeb is able to provide enough peel for me to push the soul away, and then the Ganesh kind of just follows suit. So great peel from Jeb right there. So what I was saying was I was going to get the Executioner, and then I was going to get Quincy, and then that was going to be my full build for this game. Get the Ganesh for 1-1. Feels good to wipe the people that were just hanging out under tower. So now we're going to do what we've been doing. Just keep hitting camps, steal as much XP, and secure as much XP as possible. That way, if they want to hang out under Phoenix, they're missing out. We're going to go ahead and clean up this wave.
Be right back.
If you are dealing with a team that is hanging out under tower, your best bet is to try to secure jungle camps. And just get level on them, and whenever they engage, you outplay them. No point in trying to dive them. No point in sitting in middle lane and just staring at them. So I got the Atlantean. I feel like there's an S in there or something. Atlantean, though. Anyway, I'm gonna not say the name of that item again. It's giving me 3 stacks, giving me bonus movement speed. So it allows me kind of just to strafe side to side as if I had hasten. The passive is pretty useful on this item, but the stats the item gives just aren't that fantastic. I think it's a little bit of pen, some attack speed, and I don't think it provides any power. So Anubis is marching up lane, I think. Yeah, so I've died once. Jeb hasn't died. You do the math on that. That means Anubis has died 6 times. So some people would be DMing him saying like, oh, you rock, cancel that, and all that nonsense. There's no point. Really, he's doing what he can. He's just getting caught out. And there's not much he can do with his dodge choice. What a turn of the fight. They used Cupid's ult to try to beat me, and then the Anubis get the triple kill. You see, he did his part.
Why am I so good at the game?
They tried to engage, we beads, got out, Anubis came around and flanked, hit him with my ult, and then we just turned that fight so well. And now we're going to be able to get the Phoenix and push the Titan. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you learned anything, if you thought my build was interesting, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you are looking to expand your Smite knowledge base, go ahead and give me a subscribe. I'll try to make useful content with some helpful Smite tips in between. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.